Yo, what's happening, everybody? Maurice back again with another video, definitely around my favorite game of Marvel Champions. And today, I figured I'd go ahead and end off the year with the hero rankings. Now that we've gotten some X Men that have come out, this would be a super cool way to kind of integrate them into the list as well as. Well, this one is a little more updated. They got Rogue and Gambit already, but I'll go ahead and add them in on the next rotation. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and talk about where these people will move around the list. There's a few people, or a few heroes, excuse me, that I don't quite play as often as I used to, or there's some that really have changed my view of them as I've been playing them a little bit more. So I'll talk about and move around those that have moved up and down the list for me, um, and go from there. But as you can see here, just to kind of give a recap, as you can see, I'm pretty big into build heavy uh, heroes. Thor, like I just keep him in aggression. I just have so much fun when I play Thor. Like I just have so much fun. I could play the same deck every single time with him and not get tired of it. But I think the cool thing that Marvel Champions has introduced this year is they're starting to make cheaper cards be more effective, as well as there are cards that help out those 14 hit point heroes that have small hand sizes. The good thing is at least Thor have Asgard, and there's ways to kind of get that faster onto the board, and so he actually has the same hand size as the majority of heroes at that point, which allows him to do even more than what he does now. Especially at the minion slaying role or just doing raw damage. Cap, I think he's just the best hero overall in terms of who can mesh with what, um, who can mesh with what aspect, because I think he's equally as great in every single aspect. Unlike Doctor Strange, whose kit is just so ridiculous that it doesn't matter what you give Doctor Strange. With him, he just synergizes with each of those aspects so well. And then with Iron Man and Rocket, I just love getting a ton of stuff on the table and let them do the work for me. Ironheart, same thing actually. The same thing with Black Panther. But I think that Black Panther, you can run almost anything with him just because of how rich he is in the game. On top of the resources that you get, but everybody else, for the most part, stays the same for me. There's a couple of changes. Um, I'll go with. I'll start with War Machine. He kind of dipped for me. Like he doesn't. Man, I had a lot of fun with him initially, but now he's not as fun as Thor for me, and his kit, I don't know, like it doesn't have that same glitz and glamour like it did before. It reminded me of Quicksilver. Like um I had a higher, I don't know the word for it. I guess a higher appreciation for Quicksilver previously, because it's super fun when you were able to pull off a ton of activations in one turn and just do a ton of damage. But it just got kind of stale for me, and this is what's happening with War Machine. He's getting a little stale for me, so he dropped a little bit for me. I think Miles is dropping a little bit for me as well. Like he was super fun when he first came out, super strong. Like if there's a villain without steady or stalwart, Spider Man runs all over him. I think Miles Morales just dominates them because he's able to get so many tough statuses on himself. He's able to dish out stuns and confuses like it's nothing. And the fact that he gets rewarded for flipping down so often, especially with the can't remember if it was double time or double life that he have, where you can change a form, and if you pay for it with the I think it's a physical resource, he gets to ready like that. That works so well whenever you want to dip down to alter ego and then flip back up. Like it's a money play, but um yeah, he makes some villains way too easy. I'm having too way too easy of a time with him. So it's like I kind of died off on him a little bit, where it's like, he's strong for sure, but I mean I'll still play him though. Like he's kind of cool. Valkyrie actually rose quite a bit for me, and this is why. Like I think that she has kind of a clunky kit. I think that she's maybe one or two design choices away from being phenomenal. But I think that for one, her kit costs too much. I wish Death Touch would have been um, free to put on because I think that it's so conditional for what you need, what you needed to do. But also, I think Valhalla should have been should not exhaust. I think that if you're going to go heavy into minion slaying, I think that she should have reaped a ton of benefits off of that to where she can consistently like heal and draw um off of playing off of those minions. Because I mean, if we're not looking at somebody like Green Goblin, if we're not looking at somebody like uh Ronan or whoever used the Band of Badoon or the Brotherhood of Badoon. I can't remember what that modular set is. They come with like 9 or 10 minions. Like she excels off of that, right? Or even the Green Goblin one. Um, I don't think it's Goblin Gimmicks. I can't remember the name of it, but she she needs minions to be effective. And I think the problem is that she doesn't get enough benefits off of minions. But it's a fun, challenging kit that makes me think a little differently when it comes to build heroes, and I do appreciate that about her a lot. So she moved up the list for me. Another one that moved up for me, my man Nova. I think that man, I when he first came out, I thought he was kind of cool. You know, you could pull off some pretty cool combos with him, but the more events that come out in this game, the better he gets, and especially if they're cheap, like 0 to 2 cost events. It's unbelievable what you can pull off with this man. I had a lot of fun with him recently. I think he's super fun in aggression. You can make it work with justice and protection. And even if you go what do you call it? If you go leadership, there's some pretty good leadership heroes that came out with Ironheart that works extremely well with Nova, and I think there's enough champion cards that's out right now, or at least cards with the champion trait that works extremely well with them. So yeah, Nova moved up quite a bit. I'd play him every single day if I could. And then my man Hulk, I didn't give him enough respect last time. He moved all the way up. Um, I just had so much fun. And then down here, I think the only person that moved up quite a bit for me is Spectrum. When I went through the Sinister Motives box with her, I went through with her uh and Gwen, Spider, Ghost Spider, and Spectrum was carrying so many games, man. She's just, oh my goodness. I think the hard part is just figuring out when to be in certain forms, and that's what made me value going down to Alter Ego more often, so that if I am stuck in like, um, not Gamma, is Gamma Photon, uh, whichever one is the defense one, Gamma Photon. I cannot remember it to save my life right now. Blanking the day. The defense one. I can't remember the name of it, but when I get stuck in that one, because there are sometimes you have to just defend yourself, or you about to get obliterated, and I think that sometimes I get stuck in that form, and I don't have Blue Marvel to play. I don't have Speed of Light to play, and that's not the mode that I really want to be in. So that made me appreciate the value of flipping down, because sometimes you just have to, and you may have to take some extra threat to counterbalance you being able to flip up and do something amazing. But yeah, I've been enjoying her quite a bit. She's slowly becoming one of my favorites in the game. Actually, I would put her over Spider Suit. So yeah, that's I think these are the major changes so far with these group of heroes. I did announce that I was doing the second wind. I did have one with Ant Man. He is fun. I think he pretty much stays where I would put him. I do have a little bit more appreciation for him, but he didn't rise or fall for me. But I do think that he is fun and worth playing, especially with those cards that came out with Ironheart. But I guess everybody except for Doctor Strange, because I think that he's just he's just amazing. You can put him in almost anything. But with these 7 heroes, I'm definitely focusing on them for my second win series. I'm currently working with Scarlet Witch and getting some games in with Phoenix. So I'm having them, play uh be teammates and wrecking villains. So I'll have more videos coming out, and I'll talk more about my experience with Scarlet Witch so far. But let's go ahead and hop into these X-Men. So Colossus, I'll put him down here. Like, I'm not really feeling him, which kind of bums me out because he was one of my more anticipated heroes coming into the X-Men cycle. But I think he's too dependent on those toughs, and that's because I think his cards aren't terrible, but if you have a tough, oh my goodness, he just becomes just superior. He becomes amazing if you got toughs on him. But the hard part is trying to flip up and have enough toughs and keep enough toughs on you to be able to make his kit worthwhile. But it's hard to keep those toughs in a position, especially the more you get into multiplayer. I think that it's a little tougher to keep those toughs on him, and it's a shame that he depends so much on them. Even though I know that's kind of like the main gimmick for him. It's the difference between doing 2 and 5, 2 for 5 with Steel Fist, or doing 2 for 5 with Steel Fist, discarding a tough, and then adding a stunning and confuse on it. He just gets ridiculous with um, what he can do with those tough statuses. But if you don't have any toughs on him, he just become a run of the mill hero, and it feels bad when it feels bad when it's not working with him. So I'm still a little disappointed with him, but maybe he'll come around sometime next year when I do another second win series. But that's where he's at right now. Shadowcat, I'm moving her up here somewhere. I put her in front of Miles. I think that um, I have so much appreciation for her because of what Spectrum has done to my perspective of heroes who change a lot of forms. Like, at first, I did not like Spectrum all that much, but after playing that campaign, getting more games in with her, and understanding the flow of her and trying to get her to work in these different aspects made me appreciate Shadowcat so much. And Shadowcat is ridiculously strong. I think her best right now is probably Protection still, but you can make some ridiculous decks out of Aggression and Justice with her. Pairing up, surprise attack with Aggression, pairing up, lay down the law and justice, and then perseverance, right? With protection. She's, oh my goodness, man. She turns into a monster. So um I think they balanced her correctly by giving her 9 health points, because if she had 12, oh my goodness, she'd be like Spider Ham level, just off of those 3 hit points, man. So it's wild, but I do like her. I think she's super fun. I really love protection, so for her to play off of protection extremely well, yep, she's amazing. The man, the myth, the legend. He almost broke into my top four. He's right there. I think the only issue is that I haven't figured him out, or let me rephrase that. I don't want to play him in any other aspect but leadership. But if I can try to figure out something in thwarting, injustice, or aggression, I think that I can make it work with them. But I just think you get so much value out of leadership with Cyclops that, oh my goodness, man, it's hard to not play him in leadership, and I think that's kind of the double edged sword with him, where leadership is arguably the strongest aspect. He excels at that aspect, and it's not even close. But I've been working with Justice with him because I think that may be his next strongest one. But I'm figuring out protection and aggression. I know somebody made a really good protection deck for him, revolving around Nightcrawler, which I think that was a super cool combo. But yeah, he's so fun to play. I could literally play Cyclops for the rest of the year of next year and be all right with it just because he's that fun to me. So he's definitely up there, top five easy. He's about what I expected and turned out to be a little bit better than what I expected. The only thing I wish, though, it would go over his 15 card limit. I wanted to see some more of those full blasts, but I think that that could have made him too ridiculous at times, especially if you were able to get him ready. It'll turn into it'd be pandemonium. I really wanted more copies of that, but I think that would have he would have broke the game if that was the case. But it is what it is. Phoenix. Ooh, I put her over here somewhere. I don't hate her. I'm still figuring her out. I think that she's a hero that how can I put this? I'm still figuring her out. I think that I'll start with what I really like about her. She feels like a progression to the end game, and what I mean by that is normally when you're trying to set up, she is a hero, my opinion, that requires some build. So if there's an X Jet on the table, you probably want it on her end. Um, as well as things like Helicarrier, Avengers Mansion. Try to get her an engine going because she have some hella high cost cards, and I think that that's the biggest drawback for her is she has like Star Lord level um of high cost, but it's understandable because of her restrained and unleashed side. Where at least with her restrained side, if she have those power counters, she well, I guess it happens on both sides. She can use that as a resource. So if her whole kit was full of one or two costs, like she'd be playing cards for free, and I think that would have been broken. So it's understandable that she needed to have like three and four, a ton of 3 and 4 cost events or upgrades for her to at least be kind of fair on the table. You didn't want to create another Doctor Strange, right? And I think that that's with her, her drawback is what would have made her broken. I think in the game, my opinion. With that being said, I think she's really strong in Justice, so I appreciated that they put her in Justice. I think that she could have used like the power of justice in her in her hero pack, but that's just me. It is what it is. Or maybe I'm just terrible with her. I'm willing to admit that too. But I'm liking her. Like I enjoy her, and I've been wanting to play her more to not write her off completely, and just get to the point where I can just be a more effective Phoenix player because I think there is something there to her to her kit outside of controlling minions and thwarting, and I think that she's phenomenal with I think it's psionic manipulation or psychic manipulation, where she can go down to alter ego and still use that card. Where if the villain schemes, it removes threat instead of adding threat. Wherever. Oh well, I guess technically it would be the main scheme, but I think that you can remove it anywhere. So, yeah, I think she's the strongest in Justice, my opinion. But I can see where aggression can play a really good part. I can almost see a protection build too, but and then leadership with her using Cerebro, she could probably get out of control with that, but I still got to get some more reps in. But I like her. Like I don't think she's terrible, but it's just I think similarly to Spectrum, I think I just need to figure out like what are you aiming at with her, and I think part of that is keeping her restrained until it's go time, and then switching over to Unleash and start putting in work because her some of her cards does get better when she's unleashed, and I think that that's awesome. So I think she's a good design hero. Wolverine, straight up towards the top. I think that he is fun regardless of what you put him in. I think that his kit is just super fun. He's got a little bit of everything. He's got that 222 baseline, so you can essentially make him whatever you want. But I think, of course, he excels in aggression. I think that you can make some really good protection decks because he have to take so much damage. So I think cards like um, Second Wind can do him some justice, and I think that he has enough damage in his kit to be able to go up against any villain. So in multiplayer, I think he just excels well in aggression. But if you're playing solo, you're probably looking towards either aggression for a rush build, justice, to get an engine going so that you can just tear into the enemy at any given point. or protection to keep him from keep him from dying from his own kid, which is hilarious. But I think that thematically, he's outside of Cyclops. I think he's the most thematic X-Men we've got so far. Um, and yeah, he's just a lot of fun, man. If I had to give a recommendation, if somebody is haven't gotten any of the X-Men, or like, Maurice, what's the first choice? I think Wolverine, hands down, is arguably the best X-Men that have come out so far. Um, that's my opinion, you know. So if you're looking for X-Men, trying to figure out which one to start with, I think Wolverine is not a bad choice. I think he's really good in this game. What else we got? Oh, Storm, last one. I think she's roughly right here with Phoenix for me. I'm still figuring her out. I think that she has some really cool combos, so I think it's trying to figure out what all she interacts with. And I think by the next time I do this video, she's going to be up either first round pick or top of play more times than not. I'm just still trying to figure out. I think that um, adjusting those win I mean not win those weather cards is still a struggle for me, trying to figure out the best way to manipulate the field, especially since I play two-handed, trying to figure out the best way to set up my partner or the other hero that I'm playing as, because I went through the Mojo Mania with her and Wolverine, and she did well, but it was definitely Wolverine carrying it, and I think that that's just me not being good with her yet, and so it's still I'm still trying to figure her out. But I think that she has some really cool combos, and I think she's, man, if not Cyclops, she might be one of the better options in multiplayer because of how much of the field she affects. You know, because all of her effects affect all of the characters on the board. So heroes, allies, minions, the villain, she affects them all. So I think that there's some cool ways to manipulate that, and she's really good against Magneto. I think that she's a solid choice against Magneto. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now with the different heroes. As you can see, with first round picks, it's starting to get a little crowded. But these are the heroes. Man, I can almost throw Valkyrie up here too. But these are the heroes that I would, um, if 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 the game didn't add any more heroes and this was the pool we dealt with, I could play these guys every single time and I get tired of them. So this is where I'm at with that. It's a shame to see Miles drop a little bit, but now that the game is starting to add more of those stalwart and steady villains, like his kit becomes a little lackluster around that, but he can still deal a lot of damage and give himself tough. So there's not a lot of them with Pearson, which helps quite a bit. But yeah, let me know what you think. If there's any of these that shocked you, or if there's any of them that you think deserve to be higher than others, you know, maybe later on down the road, I'll get them a little higher up the list, because I'm definitely focusing. Well, with the exception of Colossus, I'll definitely be focusing on the rest of these when it comes to my second win series, because I think that there is something, because especially these two, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, are so popular. I think that Wasp, and she's another one that's really popular too, that just really haven't caught my eye yet. So I've been reading up on some decks that make them popular, make them pop, so that I can go ahead and get myself in a position to at least recognize the strength that they have um, in, in the game, or at least what the designers were going for. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know, some of your favorite heroes of the year, because I know that we started off with, I want to say it was, who did we start off with? It was Sinister Motive. So you had Miles and Gwen, and now we're in phase one of the X-Men. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another two, but I'll save that for another video. But let me know what y'all think of the list, and let me know if there's a few of them that y'all think I'm crazy on, or if there's some that you agree with me. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you continue to enjoy Marvel Champions as much as I do. Y'all take it easy.